Hey everyone, how's it going? Last time, I talked about Transformers, a property that has been many things toys, movies, games, comics, but we all know as a famous cartoon series. And that's what we're going to be talking about for this theme. You see, in the last video, I left a few clues to kind of hint on what I was going to be reviewing next, but if you didn't catch them, well, screw it. Gravity Falls Lost Legends. Now, in case you were in a coma for the last several years or somehow never heard of this show, I'll give a brief explanation of what Gravity Falls is. Beginning airing from June of 2012 to February of 2016, Gravity Falls was created by Alex Hirsch, who at the time was famous for the Cartoon Network show Flapjack. It became one of the biggest animated shows that came out of the 2010s, along with shows like Regular Show, Steven Universe, Wander Over Yonder, and Randy Cunningham 9th Grade Ninja. Also, unlike the last two shows that were just mentioned, this didn't get canceled after 2 seasons. Well, okay, it lasted only 2 seasons, but that's because it actually kind of works in its case because it's a mystery series. As for the plot, it focuses on twins Dipper and Mabel Pines, who were sent to live with their great uncle Stan in the fictional town of Gravity Falls, Oregon, and help him with his business, a tourist trap called the Mystery Shack. While running an errand for Uncle Stan, Dipper finds a mysterious journal in the woods. The journal is revealed to have the secrets of Gravity Falls. Though encrypted, Dipper is determined to figure out what the journal's secrets contain, and the truth behind Gravity Falls. Okay, saying this show was a success would be a massive understatement, alright? Okay. It was so big that after its finale, people were still wanting more. So, yeah. Just imagine how everyone felt when, in 2018, we got this announced. As usual, warning, there will be some spoilers in this book, and also, I'm going to be talking about the show, so yeah, if you don't want to be spoiled about the show, then stop this video right now. But if you don't care, I will be explaining a few things when it comes to characters and plot elements. But besides that, unlike the other videos, I do actually recommend this book for kids, so yeah, that's new. Anyway, let's get started. Now, unlike the previous books I've covered, this is actually an anthology story that contains 4 stories, so I'm going to try to be quick when talking about each one. The first story being Face It. Taking place after the episode Tale of Two Stands, our story begins with Dipper and Mabel getting a visit from Mabel's favorite frenemy, Pacifica, who freaks out. Why? Because she's gone a wrinkle! Oh! Yeah, this is actually not a big deal. And the Pine twins definitely agree. But Pacifica doesn't see it like that, and decides to quote-unquote borrow a journal and summons a demon known as Mr. What's-His-Face, who can apparently fix people's faces for a price. Clearly, this will end well. Yeah, he tried to steal her face, but ends up stealing Mabel's face when her and Dipper walk in. Mr. What's-His-Face leaves, and it's up to Dipper and Pacifica to track him down and get Mabel's face back. After that, we got Comics Up. Oh my god, seriously, these puns. Where the story is pretty straightforward. We have the Pines family, the repairman Zeus, and cashier Wendy get sucked into the world of comics, all while we learn why Stan seems to have a bit of a dislike for comics. It's fun, and yeah, we definitely get some really good cracks at certain comic genres. Then we have the story Don't Dimension It, with this one actually taking place after the events of the finale Weirdmageddon. Long story short, a bunch of demons showed up, led by this crazy Illuminati looking Dorito thing named Bill Cipher, who took out a baby who controlled time and space. This show is weird and I love it. Though Bill was defeated, the craziness wasn't completely gone, and it was up for the Pines to clean this mess up. This mess took the form of a portal that Mabel falls into and ends up in a pocket dimension full of, well, Mabels. At first, she had fun hanging out with different versions of herself, at least until she accidentally hurt Lightbulb Mabel's feelings. Not cool, Mabel. After that awkward situation, she learns that she might be stuck in this dimension forever. But when Stan and Ford, more on Ford later, comes to save her, it is revealed that one of the Mabels is evil, which obviously means things are gonna get complicated. Then we got our final story, called The Pine Boys, in Their Jersey Devil in the Details. Taking place years before the events of the show, we follow the adventures of young Stan and Ford Pines. Ford was the one who originally wrote the journals,
and create some of the crazier things that Dipper and Mabel would encounter in the series. He also had a pretty complicated relationship with his brother Stan. Here, the two brothers are hunting for the Jersey Devil, an actual urban legend in Jersey, who Stan claims stole their father's gold chain. Though his father believes that Stan did it, Ford chooses to believe his brother, and they begin the hunt. All of these stories are told by our favorite gnome, Schmebulok, who briefly breaks from his saying his name multiple times to host. These stories are all great. Each one is very unique while keeping the classic feel of Gravity Falls, which makes sense since each story is written by Alex Hirsch.
Also, I am convinced that the first story was originally meant to be in the show, but got cut for time because, hell, there's even like a little thing in the end that I'm pretty sure was supposed to be a credit scene.
When it comes to which story is my favorite, it's between the first and final story, since both have some great character moments. Honestly, the only downside being that you have to watch the show to really appreciate it. As for the characters, they're all just as likable as ever. Usually, I talk about each character individually, but because of the nature of this book and the fact that the characters can't go through so much development since they still have to stick to the canonicity of the show, I'm just gonna talk about, them all together. And yeah, they aren't really that different. Dipper's still that determined yet awkward kid who's curious about the supernatural. Mabel's still a crazy ball of fun. Dan is still a con artist with a heart of gold. Well, fool's gold. Ford is pretty much Rick Sanchez if he was sober and, had a little bit more, less self-destructive tendencies. And Wendy and Seuss are, well, they're Wendy and Seuss. I said before, we do get some character stuff in the first and final story, but it's mostly towards Pacifica, who, after the episode Northwest Mansion Mystery, didn't really get to do too much until the finale.
Also, I'm pretty sure this restarted Ship War, but you know what? I'm not getting into it. I ain't a shipper.
And the final story was able to get some character development since it did take place before the events of the series, and this was a part of Stan and Ford's life that we only got a brief glimpse of in the series. After the new characters like Mr. What's-His-Face and the multiple Mabels, try saying that 5 times fast, are pretty entertaining characters, but there's not too much I can say without giving major spoilers. As for the art, we get several different artists, mostly for the second story since it does dive into different genres of comics, but a majority of it is done by Dana Terrence, who has actually been on several Disney projects as both an artist and an animator, and created the series Owl House, and just like Hirsch, clearly did not lose her touch when it came to these characters. Lost Legends is a great continuation of the show, and much like the show, has secrets and codes that are fun to solve.
Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe, and you know what? As much as I dig the hat, I think for this season I have to go for something a little bit more spooky. That's right. For the rest of October, the theme will be horror themed. And what are the horror themed comics I'm going to be talking about? Well, just like in the last video, I already told you. See you next time, and before we go, I want to introduce, for the Halloween season, my special co-host. Ghost that I control because I decided to put in a Carnage toy. Yeah, I got to work on the name.
Hey everyone, could someone please kill me?
Okay, maybe I won't have him joke that much, he clearly has some issues. But yeah, like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you later.